Jumping right in on a road test here. This is actually where we left off in the last video. I was just about to jump in the car and drive off. So here I am, driving off. Think I drove far enough? Well, I guess if I can't go any further, then I have. Here are some scenes from the ski area at government camp. Just running through the parking lot here while it's the skiers out. Boy, this is so scenic. Now we're going to take a little cruise through the center of government camp. This town was formed when they were building the Timberline Lodge during the WPA, during the Depression. They kind of went with an alpine look, but it's really a nice area. Yeah, motorcycle ride. The beauty of this is government camp's only an hour at most from Portland. And from Portland, in an hour going the other way, you're at the beach. So we've got mountains, the ocean, and then we've got the high chaparral around Bend. Just beautiful spots, and they're all within an hour of Portland, so beautiful, beautiful area to live. As we're getting down here to the west side of town, off there, up in the mountains on the left there, you can see Ski Bowl, which is another huge skiing area, which is just on the other side of the highway and just a little bit west of government camp. So, do you hear it? Or, I guess I should ask, do you not hear it? Yeah, the one thing that's missing, no howling rear end. Betsy's running so good. Hi, welcome to Don's Manufactory. Well, if you remember, I am chasing a noise in the motor that's been driving me crazy. It's kind of, I knew it was in the front of the motor, but I decided I was just going to tear the front of the motor apart until I found something. So, what's the first thing I found? Well, this little guy right here, the timing pointer. I don't know if you can see that or not because I painted it already. But you can see where the pointer was rubbing on the damper. Just a simple little noise. That was one of them. Okay, so another little noise is this high-pitched little shing noise that I've been trying to track down. I thought it was a water pump bearing. But I'm not entirely sure because I put that water pump on, that aluminum water pump, and of course it had problems with porosity and it was leaking fluid and stuff, leaking coolant out, but this noise was still there with that pump on there, and so I took that pump off and I put the original cast iron one back on, and the noise was still there, so obviously that wasn't it. So I just decided yesterday that I would dig into the car and figure out, just keep tearing stuff apart until I find something. So unfortunately I didn't, during this whole process I was still being frustrated and I didn't actually shoot any of it on video. Well, after I got the timing cover off, when I got inside there, the timing gears are incredibly worn out. And I don't get this. I mean, it's not a nylon tooth one. This was a Cloy's steel, but it was the silent type. But you can, I don't know if you can see that or not. See how much wear is on this gear? It's just hammered, and that's because of the camshaft and the extra spring tension from running a bigger cam. This type of gear is just having a heck of a time because there's not that many miles on this chain where it should have that kind of wear. But needless to say, well, if I were to just emulate it here, I can't show you because I've already got it off the car, but what it looked like was, let me get this, it looked just about like that. And I didn't document any of the stuff I should have for you to make an educational lesson out of this or whatever. You know, basically what you do is you turn the crankshaft and you can feel it, the slack before it picks up the camshaft. And if you do that with your timing marks up, you can see how many degrees of rotation you have before the camshaft picks up. And if it gets around, if it gets up to 7 or 8 degrees, your timing gears are going to give you trouble. Anything over about 5 degrees with a nylon gear probably means trouble. But with a steel gear like this, it's at 7 degrees, it would still work. And of course, with my car, it still worked. It's just amazing because the lower gear doesn't show that kind of wear at all. But that upper gear, you know, it's not a billet or a forged or whatever. I'm assuming it's a hardened gear, but man, it doesn't look like it was a hardened gear. And I wouldn't expect that from Cloys, but that's what happened. As for the noise I'm chasing, well, that timing gear, that chain whirring along at the lower crankshaft pulley, that could very easily account for one of the noises I heard. But I was looking at the timing cover, and once again, I don't know if you can see this, but right there, it looks like the timing chain was slapping the case, this housing there. See that right there? And what I'm thinking is, see, if you look this bolted onto the front of the motor like this, this is the tight side, the side it's pulling on, and this is the side that's whipping. So it would make sense that with as much slack that was on that chain, maybe the noise I was hearing on certain acceleration, deaccelerations was the actual chain taking a little whack at the case. I don't know. I won't know till I get it back together. My standard modus operandi would be any noise I hear in the motor that doesn't belong there is the harbinger of bad things happening on the road. So I do not want anything happening when I take off on my road trip to go back to see Barry and Wally and my cousins and maybe go on a power tour or something like that. I guess maybe I'll keep you included as I put it back together. I just, you know, I didn't film it because what the heck? You guys have seen me take the water pump on and off this thing twice now. You didn't need to see that again. Of course, the front timing cover is a different story, but anyway, okay, let's get to it. Okay, here you can see stuff that I was expecting to be wrong, you know, like maybe the retaining plate, the bolts had sheared off and it had turned or something, but that's okay. The eccentric for the fuel pump was okay. The fuel pump arm in itself was okay. You can see the front of the motor looks fine. One of the things that I did realize, I took my mirror and a flashlight and I looked down in here and I thought this was the motor that I had a windage tray and baffles and the pan and everything, but no, that was the motor that went down the road in the 32 Coupe Ladouce. Anyway, so this motor doesn't have any baffling or anything, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to put myself on a better pan with some oil control on it, or I'm going to have trouble because I've got lower gears now and I'm going to have a heck of a lot more traction, and oil starvation is going to be a problem. Okay, other than that, if you look here at the distributor gear. You can see there's very little play in the distributor gear, so all that's okay. So what I'm doing now is I actually had to order these gears. I'm going with Cloy's again because they have such a good name. But I'm going with the True Roller Street Kit. I'm not doing the heavy duty one. I'm just going to do the street one. And it should do a better job of not wearing out the gears and staying tighter longer. Although, you know, this one's been in the car for a while. Maybe 65,000 miles or so. But that was a way more slack than I expected to see after 60,000 miles. Okay. So I just been washing up the parts, and I'm going to do a little paint work. In fact, here, let me just turn you this way. Cleaning up the damper and redoing the degrees on the damper so it's easy to see. I know it looks kind of sloppy, but after it dries, I just take the X-Acto knife and I trim off all the extra stuff so it just leaves the white down in the grooves. And this groove, the zero groove, I always take a file and cut a nice long groove out of there so it really stands out different than all the rest because I use a dial back timing light most of the time. I'm just doing little maintenance items here while I'm in painting and cleaning up. Like I'm going to paint the front timing cover blue again because it's kind of all the paint's coming off, and you know, just simple stuff. Got the fuel pump all cleaned up so it looks real good. That fuel pump went in when the motor went in, and it's still working, which is amazing, actually. Jeez, that's a 1987 fuel pump. I think when I go on the trip, though, I'm going to bring some spare parts. I'm going to bring an extra belt, points and condenser, and probably bring extra carb gaskets, things like that, in case I run into trouble somehow, somewhere. If I do a drag and drive, of course, I'll have a trailer with the slicks and everything, so I'll just have tools and lots of extra parts in there. I'm going to watch some videos about how other people put their trailers together for drag and drive, and just, you know, what they bring, what they didn't need, what they did need, maybe some wiring supplies, and just simple stuff, you know, wire ties and tape and hose clamps and stuff like that. You know, just how much of that stuff do I want to bring? My O-ring set. What else could I bring? Oh, oil and filter, that kind of stuff. So I guess I'll just kind of keep you posted as it goes. Like, there's not much to see until these parts come in. Okay, I gotta get to work, and so I will bring you back as soon as I got something to show you. Welcome to Don's Manufactory. The motor is back together. It's got a brand new water pump, cast iron this time. It's got brand new timing gears. And so some of the noises are gone. The little thing with the timing tab and stuff, so it's quieter. And surprisingly, the valve train is quieter. I guess that's because the timing set is no longer really loose and there's not as much chatter on the camshaft, maybe. Anyway, the valve train seems a lot quieter. But that high-pitched, whiny little screechy noise, still there. Well, okay, Don. How did you diagnose that? Well, if you take the belt off, the noise goes away. So what does that leave? Well, it's had 3 water pumps, and the noise was still there. Could be the fan clutch, but no. I bought a new one of those. Noise is still there. What about the alternator? Well, I put new bearings in the alternator. Noise is still there. Same noise. I don't know. But at this point, I think I'm just going to stop worrying about it. I'm going to do something uncharacteristically me, which is I'm going to consider it has a bad cold, and I'm going to wait for it to get pneumonia. So I'm just going to start driving it, and we'll put a bunch of miles on it again, and we'll see if anything else crops up. I got to slap the air cleaner on, so I'll do that because I'm about to leave and go to dinner. Yeah, this air cleaner is something else I'm gonna take a look at too. Yeah, it's had another failure. That's what it gets, you know, it's the age. The diaphragm for this quit, so I manufactured a new one. I could show you that at some point. It's just made out of a 1-inch brass hunk of pipe, a standpipe out of a toilet actually, with a little nylon piston that I made. And I did it special so that when this is closed, then the piston goes all the way to the back and an O-ring seals it so that there's no vacuum leak, so it doesn't cause a misfire in the motor when it's idling and stuff. The diaphragm that controls the air temperature has quit. So I'll either have to make a new one of those, but I actually thought about why not just make a manual control out of it. So when I pull the choke, it closes the warm-up passage, and as soon as the motor is warmed up and I push the choke off, then it goes ahead and turns off the hot air supply to the carburetor, and that will let it idle good and warm up fast and all of that. You know, these diaphragms, they're what, 60 years old now. I guess they should give it up. Well, this one still works nice. That's why I designed it the way I did, is because it won't ever fail. There's no rubber diaphragm to give up. Well, let's just give it a shot and see what happens here. I don't know if you can tell. Hear how quiet the valve train sounds compared to how noisy it was the other day when you were listening to it in the video from the last video. It's amazing. But I think I don't have anything to worry about, I don't think, in terms of something blowing up on the road. I don't like noises because they really do mean something's weird. But I checked all the timing stuff. It's all really good. So, what the heck? Whoops, sorry. I just smacked you in the head. Okay, so I guess that's about it. I am going to pull the car out so I can clean the floor. Boy, what a mess. Well, there's where that socket went. I had a feeling it zipped out under the... well, you guys don't need to see me sweep the floor, do you? Thanks for watching Don's Manufactory. Let you guys know what happens on this road test. I don't know where I'm going to go, although, well, I know I'm going to end up at dinner at my daughter Desiree's house. But yeah, I don't know where I'll go in between. So, hey, I'll just shoot a little video of that when I arrive. So, catch you later.